Welcome to Theater Crafts, where we take theater memorabilia and make brand new treasures. So today we're going to make bookmarks. Not just regular bookmarks, but bookmarks that have a theater twist to them. They're really fun. So they're really sparkly. They've got all these little adornments that make them really special. But they have theater images on them, so you can use them when you're reading scripts or reading books that you love. So today we're going to make acrylic bookmarks with a theater twist. All right, let's get crafting. Okay, so here we are, and I want to give you a closer look at these bookmarks. So you see we've got the image of the show, and you can see that they're acrylic. They have some substance to them, and I've added lots of glitter. I'm a big fan of the glitter, and so I've added that to kind of add some sparkly interest here. If you notice here on this one, I added a charm on the top. This one I added some just rhinestones along the edge just to kind of make that a little bit more special. And this one I actually painted the edge of it just to kind of go along with it. So you can personalize these any way that you like. I just think they're really fun. And so today I'm going to make another one so you can see how I did that. And let me clear the space and get the materials and we'll get started. All right, so we have some basic materials here. Obviously, you need your mold. You can get these molds just about anywhere. They're pretty readily available at craft stores. You can get them online. You can get them, Amazon has them. In this particular one, if you can see, so you see the size of it here, and it's got this little knob at the top, and that's where I thread. If you can go back to the image, I thread the ribbon through there at the top just for some visual interest. So we've got that. We've got the resin. So today I'm going to use resin that you don't need to mix it. This is already pre-mixed, but this resin is used with the machine. You know what I'm talking about? Words are hard today for some reason. So yeah, you're going to use the UV light to cure it, and it only takes a couple of minutes. So that's really great. When you're using resin, you really should use gloves. So I have gloves here. I'm going to use a brush. And you'll see when we do this to add a top coat to the resin, and that's just to kind of smooth it out. Scissors. When you're creating your ribbon, your tassel. I've got some ribbon here that we're going to use. Obviously your glitter, whatever kind, or whatever works for your particular color. And then I'm using also just some, this is for my Cricut. So I've got a little bit of this like sticker paper. And the reason for that is the images that I'm going to use. So I've got this, this is the image sheet that I'm going to use. I'm actually going to do Aladdin today. If you look on the back, it's got writing and such. So that's just to cover the back of it. And if you look at some of the examples here, well, there's a lot of glitter on this one, but you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's the black. I added the black there. You could add a different color. I just happen to have black on mine. So obviously you're using your images, you're getting your images. And so this was just a brochure that I had, and I just love the images here of the different show designs. So I thought I would cut some of these out and make these bookmarks because they're just about the right size. I have to cut them down just a little bit, but they're just about the right size. But there are tons of images that you can use. Like I have this book too, and these would certainly work as well. Even if you look in programs, sometimes there are images in programs as well. And so there are a ton of options out there for you. Okay, so those are basically If you want to add some like charms or anything like that, you can personalize it in any way. Like I added the charm there, or adding like the trim on the frozen one here. You can certainly add anything like that. That would work. All right, so that's basically it. So let's get started. All right, so as I said, I'd like to do the Aladdin image today. So I'm going to cut this out. Notice I've used a lot of these. I use them for a variety of projects, and I just hate to throw them away because it's just the artwork is just so beautiful, and I'm a huge fan of, as you know, musical theater. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit smaller than the edge of the poster. What would be the poster or the show image? Just because I want to make sure that it fits in the mold. So let's see how this fits in. You can see my mold is well loved here. Okay, so that fits in beautifully. Okay, so I'm going to put my, I want to actually first. So I've got the sticker paper here, and I'm just going to take this and I'm going to kind of stick it on. If I had a different color, I might use a different color on this, but I don't. So we're going to, and then just cut this out. And again, it's just to cover the back of it so that it doesn't, so the back of it looks finished as well. And we're going to add lots of glitter anyway, so it will be covered up. In terms of the color, I mean. Okay, there we go. In the back, see? Secure that a little bit better. Okay. All right, let's go there. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so I'm actually going to put my gloves on now so that we can start the resin process. So this resin, I've actually used this for several projects, different types of projects. It's really easy to use. All right, I'm going to get my machine. Why can't I come up with the word today? My resin to cure the resin. All right, and I'm going to take this off. And like I said, this one is great because you don't have to mix it. A lot of them you have to mix. So I'm actually going to put a layer in first and add some. I'm going to add some of the glitter. We're going to do the poster addition on the second layer. Okay, you'll see why in a moment. So I'm literally just adding this in. You can see that. You want to be careful because you could get bubbles in here. That happened. It happens sometimes. All right. Let's see. Sometimes I'll just, it looks pretty good. Generally pretty good. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take, I wanted to do two different colors. I actually like having two different colors. One of them, the Tina one, I only did one, and I actually said, I'm not, and I didn't add as much to this one, and so I didn't like it as much. Whereas, like the Jagged Little Pill, it's got two different colors, and I love how that just kind of glistens. So I like the idea of two different colors. So I'm going to take the gold first. And you're going to pick colors, certainly, that work with whatever image you have. And, you know, I use any kind of glitter works great. The one that I used for Frozen, this was actually quite chunky glitter. And I just happened to have it in my stash. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this and I'm going to leave the upper section kind of blank because I want to add, remember I said I'm going to add the image on the second layer. So you'll notice I kind of went over a little bit on that one. So I'm just going to just kind of dab a little bit so I can get that in. And don't panic if you don't get it all the way covered, because we're going to add another layer of it in the next round. So it's totally fine. Okay. All right, we'll leave that to the side. And then we're going to, it's a little bit harder. It's hard to do glitter sometimes with gloves on, to be honest. All right. Ooh, this color is awesome. Purple's my favorite color, so I really like it. All right. That was a chunk. And what's so cool about this is that, you know, no two are alike, so it really is fun to kind of create something that's original. All right, so we've got that. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it underneath the lamp, the UV lamp. Okay, and I've got mine, you can see up here is, it would be nice if I plugged it in, I suppose, huh? Plug this in. Did not plug my lamp in. So what you're going to do is you're going to, I'm going to put it on, it's for 2 rounds. So it's for 2 minutes for this one. And depending on what kind of lamp you have, you can, you know, adjust it to your own needs. But I just want to make sure that it's really cured before I add the next layer. So I'm going to let this go for 4 minutes and then come back. Okay, so it just ended. 4 minutes just went up. And here what we've got so far. And it's pretty solid. But what we're going to do next is we're going to add another layer of resin, and then we're going to add the image. And the reason for that is, and I learned this from this first one that I made, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little bit of a bubble right over Tina's head. You can see it's underneath. There you go, a little bit. You can see it. And it's because I didn't put resin in there first. I just put the image down and then put resin on top of it. And I got a bubble underneath. So the others turned out really much better as a result of learning from that first one. So sorry to Tina Turner. All right, so what we're going to do here is, again, adding another layer on top, going all the way around and adding the resin in here. And we're going to add another layer of glitter too. And it's a little bit harder in this round just to see if you got all of the areas covered. And you really want to, because otherwise you get this kind of hole in the bookmark, and that doesn't look good. Okay. I think I got it all. Oops, nope, I missed a section right there. Again, it's a little hard to see. All right, so then you're going to take your image and you're going to put it face down, because the front of the bookmark is is the bottom. So I'm going to put this face down, and I did put the glitter up a little bit high, so we're going to miss out a little bit on the Aladdin name. It's okay. We know it's Aladdin. Okay, try to get that down. I'm pushing it down so that we get no bubbles, like I was saying. And then we're going to put more resin on top of this. Resin's running out. This particular resin I got this on Amazon, and it comes 3 in a pack, 3 of these, and I've used it for a variety of projects. And if you remember the pens that I made just recently, those resin pens, I made those with the same resin, and so it actually lasts quite a while. All right, so there we go. Now I'm going to add more glitter, because we want to add glitter to the back of this. So make sure. Oh, I'm missing. You just need to turn it so you can see it from different angles to make sure you got all of those areas covered. All right, so now just adding You know what, I'm going to take the glove off. It's a little bit easier. I'm not touching the resin here. So I'm going to add more glitter to the back here, and because I really want it to be saturated. I think it looks really good when it's totally full of the sparkly goodness of the glitter. Okay. Adding some of the purple, especially up here, and trying to add it on the top because we didn't add it on the top on the first layer. So trying to get that covered there. We're actually going to add another coat on the back to fully encase this glitter, so no need to worry about that. Okay. All right. All right, so now we're going to take this and we're going to put it back under the lamp, and we're going to, again, for another 4 minutes so that it can be completely cured. I'm going to put that back under the lamp. Sorry, here we go. And we're going to do that for 4 more minutes. All right, and I'll be back. And that 4 minutes is over. Okay, so 4 minutes have passed. Okay, I'm going to move that to the side. And here we go. So now we're going to, it's the moment of truth. We're going to take this out. And you see, look at that. It's so easy to get out. Okay. All right, so like I said, we did go up a little bit high, so we don't see the Aladdin name, but we do see the genie there. So we're going to go with that. Now, in order for us to continue, I'm going to actually put some resin on the top. I discovered that, I don't know if you can see it. Completely cure. You can see a little bit there. It doesn't completely cure, and I don't know if it's just because it's underneath. But I'm just going to add a tiny little bit, and I have a brush here just to make sure that we're kind of giving a smooth surface to the top here. And so it makes it a little bit, it feels more put together, more professional. Okay. And so I'm just putting this on just a piece of cardboard. And we're going to just spread that over. Okay. And I'm going to put that under the lamp again for a couple of minutes. And I'll be right back. All right, so we've gone 2 minutes. And let's see how we got. You can see that. I'm seeing a little bump right here. This is cured so I can touch it. I'm seeing a little bump. I'm not liking that. So I'm actually going to go in. I have a file here. I'm going to go in and kind of file that down just a little bit and maybe add a little bit more of the resin there. And go back just to make that a little bit smoother. Not really sure what happened. But that's the beauty of this resin, and I'm glad that happened so you could see how I can fix that. You can also do that on the edges too. If the edges are really sharp, like you can also do that, although they look pretty good here. I'm just going to add just a little bit, and then we're going to put it back in and let that section cure again. Resin's pretty forgiving that way. All right, I'm going to let that go back in, and we'll let that cure under the light another couple minutes. All right, so we've had 2 minutes there. Let's see. That certainly looks better. You can see it's a little bit bumpy there. Doesn't take away from how pretty it is, though. You know, if you really wanted to make that much more defined, like for example, on my frozen one here, I made that more defined. You could actually put like something over it and just make sure that you measure it and glitter it, you know, where it needs to be. So I'm going to flip it over. I'm actually going to do another layer on the back here, kind of just a kind of a thin layer, and it's just mostly to encase that glitter that we have back there. Not that it's going to come out, but it's a little rough in the back. So I'm just going to cover that so that we have a nice smooth surface in the back. I just think that, like, if you're using it for a bookmark for reading scripts or reading, you know, a book for class or something like that, you want to have it so that it's not going to damage the pages. So that's why I'm adding another layer in the back. And sometimes when you put this in too, sometimes the light, it can be raised on the edges, and so this will help with that as well. All right, I think I got it mostly covered. All right, so I'm going to put that under the lamp. And again, I'm going to put it in for a couple minutes. All right. Here we go. And I'll be back. All right, so we are done here. I'm going to tell you that I actually did, I forgot to record it. I did another layer on the front here because I was a little, I didn't like the way that was looking in the center there. So it looks a lot better now from the front. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add the embellishments. Okay, so I'm going to add some trim to this, and as I mentioned before, that you can embellish this any way you'd like. In this one, I just added the ribbon there. In the Phantom one, I added the ribbon and added a charm. The Frozen, I added some rhinestones and certainly the ribbon there. And with the Tina, I painted the edges. So this one I decided that I'm going to add some sequin trim to the edges, just kind of glitz it up a little bit. And I discovered that this doesn't really take hot glue very well. So I've got the E6000 here. So you might want to go with an E6000 or something like that to adhere any embellishments along the edges here. So I'm using a Q-tip, or I mean a toothpick, because I don't want to have a ton of it on the edge, and I don't have one of those. They do have E6000 with small, nozzles. I just don't happen to have it here, so I'm going to do it this way. Now, just so you know, I'm starting at the top because I am trying to cover that eventually with the tassel that I'm gonna add at the top. So it will be kind of covered. Now I just put the E6000, just so you see here on a plate, just so that I can kind of pick it up on my little toothpick here and add it to the side. And this is just for some embellishments, just to make it kind of fancy. I like the glitzy part of it. And with E6000, you got a little bit of time. Hot glue is trickier in that regard because it dries so quickly, whereas E6000, you need a little bit of time for it to cure. And so it gives you some working time, is my point I'm trying to make there. And this also covers up if the edges aren't perfect. It also covers that up. I do that with like costuming and stuff all the time. If your some of your construction is not perfect, you can add embellishments to fancy it up. Let's see. And instead of, for this one, instead of doing ribbon, I thought I would do some of the embroidery floss and make a little tassel. I thought that might be kind of fun, so I'll show you how to do that in a moment too. So fun. I just think these are so cute. I'm a big fan of using resin. I just think it's just got so many possibilities. Getting some strings here. It's really durable, so it's great too. Oops, oh, I'm all stuck. So see, like I said, you have a little bit of working time here. I love being able to use those brochures in a new way that brings those shows to like your daily theater life. Being able to use it for reading scripts or reading, books on history of theater or whatever it is that you enjoy. All right, so I'm going to cut this at the top here. Like I said, this is going to be covered at the top anyway because we're going to add the tassel at the top. So this will be all covered. Typically I would start at the bottom, but because we're going to cover the top, it makes sense to go that way. Okay, so I'm going to let this sit for just a moment. Just want to make sure these are all adhered. Let it sit for a moment. See, let it set up before we go adding the tassel piece to it. And I'm going to go wash my hands because I got a little glue on them and I don't want the glue everywhere. All right, so, ooh, strings. All right, so I will be right back and we'll add the tassel. All right, so while that is drying, I'm going to make a tassel here. And, you can certainly buy tassels. They're readily available, but I happen to have this embroidery floss, and I thought, oh, I'll just make a tassel. I've got these colors that coordinate with the glitter that I used, so I thought that would kind of work. So I'm going to use this. This is actually the tube for one of the vinyls for the Cricut machine, but you could use a paper towel tube. You could use anything really. I just wanted something that had kind of the size that I was looking for. So I'm just going to wrap my embroidery floss around it. I'm trying to do it loosely. If you've ever made like a pom-pom, kind of the same idea here. So I'm going to wrap this. Let me use the whole thing with this, might as well. I love when I can use up, these were from different projects that I had, so I love when I can use up some of those materials from different projects so that we're not wasting it. And I love the idea, I like being able to incorporate a couple colors in here just to give it some, like I said, visual interest. All right, so we got this. Wrap this around a couple times. All right, I'm going to cut this. Then I'm going to cut a longer piece here. This is going to be what we are tying it off with, but also adding it to the bookmark. All right, so we're going to kind of bring this, slide this off. All right, side, and I'm going to take my embroidery floss. I'm going to bring it down, kind of like, my fingers are still a little sticky. I'm going to tie this. So if you ever made like a pom-pom, it's kind of like that a little bit. All right. Pull this up just a smidge. All right, I'm going to wrap this just and tie it really tightly so that we don't lose it. Okay, oops. Go. And tie into a knot. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut this bottom. Just going to fluff that out just a little bit. So get all the colors and mixed up in there. And I'm going to put my threads through, because I want to be able to use this to tie it off, is what I'm trying to do here. So I'm going to put my threads through the hole in the head of the tassel. If that makes sense. Come on, go through there. I'm going to pull that out. Okay. I'm going to put this one through the other way. In this way, I can tie it off, and it's going to come from the head of the tassel rather than from the place where I tied it. I hope that makes sense. I could also thread this through a needle, but I don't have one right here with me, so I'm going to do it this way. There we go. Does that make sense? Did that all make sense to you? Get that out of there. Okay, so now I'm going to tie this in a knot on the top. Okay. Mostly just to keep it from kind of folding back on itself. Okay. Not too much, Allison. Don't want to get too... Oops, tied it too tightly. Hang on. There we go. Okay, and then tie another. And that's just to keep it at the top there. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to make a loop here. And knot that at the very top. Okay, and cut it. All right, so there's our little tassel. And we're going to take our, it's still probably a little wet, but I'm going to put this end through the hole. See the hole at the top there? Put this end through the hole, if I can get it in there. There we go. All right, and then open it up. This is why I made a knot at the top there. Take it, and then you're going to put this through. Does that make sense? Okay, and then pull it tight. And then you've got your tassel at the top. Okay, and I mean we could tie this, cut this off a little bit if you want, or you could even, if you wanted to, you could make a little bow if you wanted to go that route. But now you've got a little tassel at the top, and there it is. You can see it without the light on it. It's so cute. There we go. There's our new bookmark there. And here they are. They are so sweet. I hope you try this. And if you do, please send pictures so that I can see. So I hope you enjoyed this week's theater craft. And I will see you next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.